So I got that song in my head now. So we're gonna have some fun, some weekend retro fun. Let me get the Amazon stream going here. And Amazon just did like a major update of like everything on their website. So like my live thing looks different and better. Looks pretty cool. So the plan, everybody, happy Saturday. Wait for some of you to pop in here. Am I public? Yes, I am public. Perfect. Okay. So the plan today is we haven't done one of these retro magazine streams in a while, and I now have 2 retro magazines to open. What happened was they skipped a month because, and by the way, if you haven't seen one of these before, I'll explain this whole thing. So what I get in the mail every month is a subscription that I'm paying for from the Video Game History Foundation, and they have a massive archive of retro video game magazines. And so you subscribe to this, and every month you get a mystery envelope with a magazine. For me, it's the 80s or 90s, and you don't know what you're going to get until you open it. So I got 2 of them, and we skipped a month because I got a little busy, but the month before that, they had to skip a month because there was some Kotaku article, and they basically got like completely overwhelmed. So we are going to catch up. And then what we always do on these streams is we look at some retro thing. And we've been looking at a lot of coffee table books lately, but we're getting into the holiday season. So I thought we would check out some of these pixel frames and open these up as we go along and just see what they look like. And they're kind of cool. I'll give you the overhead. So they're like these little 3D shadow boxes that you can hang on your wall. And they're all fully licensed and everything. So we've got Street Fighter and Streets of Rage and Castlevania. So we'll kind of open these up one at a time as we go here. And I might put these on my wall, or I might make them available to some of you, because I have a lot of stuff, as you all know. And I paid for all of this stuff with my own funds today, so none of this is freebies here. These are all bought and paid for things. So what I thought I would do is wait a little bit for the streams to fill up with viewers. I'm not sure if Saturday afternoon is the right time to do it, but it is for me. And I will say hello to some friends. And we're first going to welcome Romerick. Hello there. And we're going to welcome Joe Tyson. And Crispy is here. And I made myself a delicious cup of Sumatra. So I got a local coffee roaster in town here. He gets all these great coffees. And so I have like a routine. I go into my mailbox, and on the way back I grab a cup of coffee. So I stop at his place, I get a cup of coffee, and I buy a bag of his finest beans. Matt Robinson is here. Hello there. Yeah, so we'll just kind of chill out for a few minutes until we get everybody in place here. And I think what I'll do is I'll open one of these, we'll do a magazine, and then we'll open up another one. That way we can kind of stagger this out. And we'll see where it goes. And Nimbleblitz points out, yeah, so it looks like they are not doing the subscriptions anymore. And I'm not sure how long mine will go on for either. Let me see what they've got. Because I think if you do the more recent magazines, let me see what they've got here. So yeah, it looks like they don't do the subscription anymore. So you have to buy them one-off. Before, they were doing a subscription. That's what I got in under. My guess is they're starting to run low. So I'm going to keep the subscription active as long as they have it for. And if you're curious as to what these look like, I'll open one up in a minute. So these are good little gift ideas. I'm always on the lookout for this. Let me zoom out my camera a little bit here and get into a good spot. So I'm going to record this for my video shorts while we stream about it. And I might do, you know what, let's do all these at once, because I've got a bunch of people on Amazon checking these out, so I thought we'll run through them one at a time here and see what these are all about. And what I'm going to do is record this for my extras channel. So I'm going to do a video recording while we stream here, and then we'll get into the retro magazines. I think I've got more people on Amazon watching than on YouTube, and the Amazon people I know are going to want to see what these things are all about. So we're going to get into that real quick. These are fully licensed, by the way, too. And if you're watching on Amazon, excuse me, it's getting a sip of coffee here. If you're watching on Amazon, leave a chat, and I will do my best to answer. All right? Okay, so why don't we kick it off here. I'm just going to set a record. I've been meaning to get to these. I've had these for a few weeks now. I've been so busy And then last weekend I was at the Retro World Expo. So that was a fun gathering. I got to meet Metal Jesus Rocks. And my friends from My Life in Gaming were there again. So it was a lot of fun. It was actually, I think, the best show they've ever had. There was a lot of energy there, I think, because people were so eager to get back out again. So it was really, really good stuff. It looks like William Wilkinson came over from YouTube. Thank you for the follow. All right, so I'm going to do a recording, and we'll go from there. And here we go. And yeah, William, actually, it's funny because William just went over to Amazon. They just completely changed the entire, and it's for the better, I think. The entire Amazon Live interface is different now. It looks really cool, actually. So they've changed, like, the screen is like in a dark mode screen now. Yep, if you haven't seen my Amazon stuff, go and check it out. Because if you don't like all the ads on YouTube, so the reviews that I do on YouTube generally go on Amazon if Amazon has a product listing. So you can check out my stuff there. All right, so let me do a quick little recording here, and we'll start opening these things up. And Ed Kinsey is here. I'll say hello to you. I've got to get the next thing I'm going to do, and Matt Robinson is here too. Magazines as a service, that's right. I'm going to maybe do a stream in a couple of days setting up the Stream Deck. Not the Steam Deck, but the Stream Deck. I've had this for months or years, and I am going to get it set up and show you how it works, because I have to like click around to put things up on screen, and I think it would be easier to automate that procedure. And Good Used Goods is here. Hi there. Yes, we're going to open these things up. Let me start a recording real quick here, and we'll get going. A little chill Saturday afternoon, and then we'll open up some retro video game magazines. And William says that the Amazon feed looks better than YouTube. And you know what's funny is that I give YouTube higher resolution and more bit rate than Amazon, and Amazon looks better than YouTube does most of the time. I don't know what they do to my video when it gets there, but it usually just like mashes it all up. All right, well, we got a bunch of people on Amazon watching, so let's get to it. All right, so we're going to do a video recording here, and we'll go from there. 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we're taking a look today at some pixel frames, and these are kind of a neat little gift idea. I've been looking for gift ideas as we get into the holiday season for the tech people in your life, and this one for retro video gamers might be kind of fun. These are picture frames, but they're shadow boxes where you get kind of a three-dimensional look at a classic video game. I would liken these to those cells you can get of animation, and they've got these on kind of like a three-dimensional plane here where the sprites kind of stand out from the background, and the background has a couple of layers. And we'll open these up in a second. I do want to let you know as we're taking a look at these that I paid for all of these with my own funds. All of the opinions you're about to hear are my own. No one is paying for this review, nor is anyone reviewing or approving what you're about to see before it was uploaded. And this is a Street Fighter II one. This one looks pretty cool. So you got the car and the sprites in the foreground here, and then you've got the score up there. That's pretty neat. And then I got a Castlevania one here, and this one is of the NES Castlevania. And you can see how it's got like these little standoffs there in the back to make those things pop out. But it looks pretty cool. You can look at it from different angles. Of course, all the different planes are flat, as they would be on a 8-bit game like this or a 16-bit game like this with, 2D kind of thing. And what this reminds me of actually is a VR emulator that you can run on a headset and actually play this game and have it kind of look like this in VR. It's pretty cool. I'm going to open up one of these, and let's take a look and see what the frame looks like. All right, so that's part one. And I may just play this back real quick and just see how it came out. You can get a sense as to what those look like. I'm going to open up the Castlevania one, I think, in a second here. Yes, these will be like quick hit videos on my main channel. Usually I would put these on extras, but around the holiday season, I think people might appreciate some gift ideas for themselves or for people in their lives, maybe. These got a little bit dusty, but let me open this one up here, and we'll take a look at the other two in a minute. Just want to get a sense as to the quality of everything. It looks pretty good. And these are fully licensed, so they they are like legit. And I'll probably need to give the dimensions. Let me see where I left off on the end of the clip here. Okay, good. All right, so let's cut to here. All right. And William says it looks better on the other platform. And Good Use Good says, I am a sucker for anything that is Streets of Rage. Have you played Streets of Rage 4? That's a really fun game. And Mario is here. Hello there. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. So you got some, there's a, so this is something too. I don't know why they wouldn't attach this, but we'll get to that in a second. Can we open up the back here? So I'm reluctant to do that, but they let you get into the back. I'm guessing it would just take the whole thing apart. But I guess in the interest of being thorough, we probably would want to see what happens. So I guess you can lift the whole frame right out of this, right? I think it's like that faux wood. All right, so let's pick it up from here. Mark is wondering if you could mount photos in it if you choose. Let's take it out and see if we can put something behind it. I'm going to check the Amazon page too and see if there's something unique to this. They've got like a whole bunch. They got like Sonic the Hedgehog and a bunch of other neat things. Let me look up their website and see if they have, get some information on what you can do with this. So as you can see, you can freestand it, or you can hang it on the wall. But let me see if I can get some more info on customization here. Actually, you know who distributes these? So there is this retro video game booth that I always check out at CES, and the people that distribute this are them. Inex is the company. So I'm sure we'll be seeing these. All right, I'm just looking through some of the other things I'm finding about this. They have like Altered Beast and Golden Axe. They've got Mega Man, Street Fighter 2 as you saw, Streets of Rage. That's pretty cool. Well, I guess maybe we'll try to open it up and see what happens. And the dimensions are 9 by 9 inches or 23 by 23 centimeters. 3, 2, 1. All right, so I got this one out of the box. They are freestanding, or you can mount them with the thing here in the back. This will fold down like so. The dimensions on this are 9 by 9 inches or 23 by 23 centimeters. I think they're designed for you to buy a bunch of them so that you can fill up a wall perhaps. I'm sure that was part of their thought process. And the price varies based on the game, so it's quite a range of pricing, at least what I'm seeing here. But they've got a lot of the bases covered. There's a lot of Sega stuff, a lot of Konami stuff. So as you browse around Amazon, I'm sure you can find the specific games that you're looking for. And some games have multiple editions available. One oddity here is that they come with, at least this one did, came with like a little badge that you can stick somewhere on the front, but it didn't come stuck to the front. You got to stick it yourself. And what I was curious about was whether or not we can take it out of the frame here. So let me open this up here and see what happens when we take the clips off the back. All right, so that's our next recording. This would be a quick one. But I always try to answer the questions that people have with these things because, you know, it's, if I don't do it, someone's going to ask, what happens when you open the back up? So we're up to about, yeah, this is actually good for a quick video on the main channel now that I'm looking at it. Let me just play this back real quick. 3, 2, 1. All right, so I got this one out of the box. They are freestanding, or you can mount them with the thing here in the back. This will fold down like so. The dimensions on this are 9 by 9 inches or 23 by 23 centimeters. I think they're designed for you to buy a bunch of them so that you can fill up a wall perhaps. I'm sure that was part of their thought process. And the price varies based on the game. So it's quite a range of pricing, at least what I'm seeing here. But they've got a lot of the bases covered. There's a lot of Sega stuff, a lot of Konami stuff. So as you browse around Amazon, I'm sure you can find the specific games that you're looking for. And some games have multiple editions available. One oddity here is that they come with, at least this one did, came with like a little badge that you can stick somewhere on the front, but it didn't come stuck to the front. You got to stick it yourself. And what I was curious about was whether or not we can take it out of the frame here. So let me open this up here and see what happens when we take the clips off the back. All right. Now, of course, I can't find my regular screwdriver, so I'm using this plastic spudger right now. They don't make it easy to get back into this thing, so I'm guessing that they don't want you doing this, but let's see what happens. Ow. And it's probably a necessary component of the construction process to have these clips be removable. But let's get it opened up here and see what we get. But they don't give you any screws or anything in the box, so there we go. I'm just going to do it on this one too. There we go. All right. I think I can just lift it out now. I'm wondering if this is going to break it when it happens. We'll have to see. All right. Hey, Eric's Variety Channel is here. Eric was one of the people I met in person at the Retro World Expo. And Mario says that his Game & Watch, Zelda Game & Watch. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of people getting those today. And here's Eric's Variety Channel. Yeah, we don't have a huge crowd today, but that's okay. Oh yeah, okay, this is like super delicate. Okay, you ready? So I guess you could transport it into something else, but it's going to be, looks like it's all glued together here. 3, 2, 1. All right, so let's do the tear down here and see what happens. So this is all glued onto this back panel, so it looks like it's got a piece of foam core here that all of this stuff is mounted to. So this will give you an idea of, geez, as I break it, this will give you an idea as to how it's constructed. So it's pretty delicate. You definitely don't want to take it out of the frame here if you can avoid it. But still looks pretty cool, and it's something that you might be able to modify if you're feeling up to it. But again, everything is kind of glued together here, so this will be a little difficult to get at, but this should give you a sense of how it is constructed. So I am going to put this thing back together, and you'll find an affiliate link in the video description if you want to find some of these for yourself. And that'll do it for now. Until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching. All right, that video is done. How about that? It's always good to get some work done while we chat. Now, one thing I didn't mention is that it is glass on the front. So I may need to, maybe I'll do that over again because, oh geez, it just fell off. It is super fragile. Like this, I kid you not, I'm going to have to glue this back together. So that's probably going to be out of the equation at this point. Yeah, so this part just like fell off. And what it is, and this is not necessarily their fault, it's probably mine. They glue, my wife will fix this when she gets home. They glue it to these posts here. So it's just very, very delicate because you can't have too much glue to make that work. So that's that. But let me see where I have to figure this out. Frank Mula is here. Hello, Frank. Good to see you. Has anyone put together a Nano 2 GB Jetson? You know who has, and I'm not sure if he's watching today, but there's a viewer, Red Techie, who lives around the corner from me, and he has one. In fact, he's using his for his home security system. And he's done a bunch of AI stuff with it. So if you ever see him on here, give him a holler. And I'm going to go set this aside now for my wife to fix when she gets home. I could probably fix it myself, but yes, these things are like really, like these are on a little stronger, but that one was like super weak. So when you put it back together again, it's going to be a little crazy there. Let me just check part 2 here and see if I have a way I can slide that in. Hang on a second. 3, 2, 1. The dimensions on this are 9 by 9 inches or 23 by 23 centimeters. I think they're designed for you to buy a bunch of them. So I would say that it's probably assumed that it's glass given how shiny that reflective is there. So I'll probably just put a lower third up and that'll probably make it easier. And Mark makes a good point that maybe over time that glue might get a little weak, right? It might just fall off. You know, I wonder if we should interject there. Let's see if I have room to add something. Let me take a look at that last clip we just did. That might be worth doing. Let's take a look. So let's go over to our conclusion here. This is what I just put together. Now, granted, I dropped it. All right, so let's do the tear down here and see what happens. So this is all glued onto. You can see like how weak it is up there, right? You see it's already like flopping down. This back panel, so it looks like it's got a piece of foam core here that all of this stuff is mounted to. So this will give you an idea. Jeez, as I break it, this will give you an idea as to how it's constructed. So it's pretty delicate. So I think that drop is probably what did in that top part. You definitely don't want to take it out of the frame here if you can avoid it, but still looks pretty cool, and it's something that you might be able to modify if you're feeling up to it. But again, everything is kind of glued together here, so this will be a little difficult to get at, but this should give you a sense of how to find some of the. Okay, well, I got enough to go on there. That should work. Batman emulation is here. Welcome. All right, so let us. I'm gonna go put this aside and get my crazy glue out in a little while to fix this one. Not a hard problem to fix, because it's just a little glue and it's good as new. And actually, you know, in the long term, you could probably fix it the same way. I'm not going to take any more of these apart, but this is some of the other ones that we got here. So this one's pretty neat. Yeah, so good stuff. All right, so why don't we do the, oops, oh geez, did I just break the glass here? So why don't we do the rest of them, or the magazines now. So I only got a couple of them, but I thought we would do the magazines. Now we have done, geez, probably about 4 or 5 of these streams at this point. So maybe more than that, maybe 6 or 7. I don't know, we're quite into it these days. So let me show you the magazines that I've previously received. And we'll then unwrap a bunch of them. So we've actually gotten some good ones, and I'll tell you which ones I've liked the best. And again, you don't know what you're getting until you open them up. So we have our Nintendo Power here. I think this is the most recent one, was this one. We have another Nintendo, actually we got a bunch of Nintendo Powers so far. So I've had 3 here. We had a Game Player's Mega Man Guide. This one is my favorite, and this is actually the first one that we got. And the reason why this one was my favorite was because it covered the whole gamut of the 16 to 32-bit transition. It was like right in the middle. So you had all the 16-bit and all the 32-bit stuff. So that was pretty cool. Oh, another Nintendo. I got a bunch of Nintendo Powers, didn't I? And you know what? I think there was probably more of these out than most other magazines, because it was a pretty popular magazine in its day. And then we got the PlayStation Magazine and Ultra Game Players. And then in every magazine, you get a certificate of authenticity. I mean, they do this nice. I mean, this is kind of classy how they pulled this off. And this might be a good gift idea also, because, you know, maybe you want a, let me put these down here. Yeah, if you got a gamer in your life, you can buy a bunch of these and surprise them with it. So what we always do, we're going to do one at a time. We always try to take a guess as to what year are we looking at here. So Why don't we take a gander on what year you think this magazine is? And let me know. I'm going to flip it over, and I'll wait, because I know we usually take a guess as to what year. So it can be anything from the late 80s, basically, like I would say like 88 forward is generally the range. So Eric is saying April of 94. Chris Allegretta is on bated breath. And Ando is here just in time. Yeah, we just looked at the little shadow boxes here. They're pretty cool. There's a bunch of these on Amazon, so if you click the link, you can find a few that might appeal. Because we want to get, I want to get your holiday gift lists all figured out. All right, so we've got one guess on April of 94, and we will flip it over here. Ando says maybe EGM. Shall we see what it is? Let us flip it over. It is EGM. How about that? What a guess. Now, what's the date? The date is March of 99. So this is a pre-2000, pre-Dreamcast edition. This one's in really good shape. By the way, every one of these I've received has been in excellent condition. You can just see here like how good it is. So this is Electronic Gaming Monthly from March of 99. Now, I believe the Dreamcast was available in Japan, but not yet in the US. So we'll flip through this one a little quicker than we usually do, just because we have another one to unwrap in a few minutes. It's got Jeff Gordon Racing. How about that? And I love the ads, because I think the ads are really indicative of the time period. Soul Weaver. Pretty cool. And what's really neat is like all the stuff is still in place here. And I love those demo discs. I used to get especially like in the early 90s when it was hard to download big demos. Because even when I was in college, my first couple of years, we did not have a fast internet connection there. We were stuck on like 28.8 dial-up. So to get a disk that you could just get a whole bunch of stuff on, 600 and something megabytes of data that you could easily install was really helpful. Like I remember buying PC Gamer just to get the Wing Commander 3 demo. This is Quake for the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation. Hell, here's a good story for all of you emulator fans. So this was when all of those emulators were a big deal for the Mac, because there was the Virtual Game Station on the Mac and Bleem on the PC would let you play PlayStation games. And so they were covering emulators here. Beavis and Butthead for the Game Boy. I love Beavis and Butthead. Some more stuff here. Coming soon. There's a whole bunch of coming soon here. And again, this was before the Dreamcast was out, because the Dreamcast did not come out until September of 99. And Mario wants to know if there's going to be a Dreamcast Mini. I doubt it. I don't think these mini systems, like if there was going to be one, we would have seen it by now. And Eric and it's probably not off base here. If Sega had put a DVD drive in the Dreamcast, would it have been different? And there were DVD drives available at the time, right? Because I had a DVD in '97, so that definitely was conceivable. And Chris used to get his Linux distros from buying books. That's right. You would buy the book, and on the back of the book would be a CD with the distro on there. Now, did you then install updates, Chris, or did you just wait till the next book came out? So here's some like preview of the Japanese titles. So this is Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast, which wasn't yet available yet. Here's Mickey's Magical Tetris Challenge from Capcom. Wow. Talk about making use of licenses, right? That's pretty crazy. Look how nice the quality of this magazine is. This one really is a good quality thing here. Guardians Crusade. Blast Radius for the PlayStation from Psygnosis. Here's a preview of Shenmue, a classic game. Some of you probably have been playing Shenmue 3 recently, so that one's pretty cool. And if you're tuning in on Amazon, we did just unbox the shadow boxes here. And what we do every month is we open up old retro video game magazines that come in from the Video Game History Foundation. So I always try to find some retro stuff to go along with it, because it is holiday gift season. And wouldn't it be great to like adorn your office with a shadow box like this? I have 3 of them now. I had this game, Aerodance. I don't think they called it Aero Dancing when it came out here, but it was like a aerobatics game. It was actually pretty hard. Remember, the graphics on that were awesome for the Dreamcast. I have to say, this is probably the best condition magazine I've received from them so far. And this one is, and most of them have been in great condition, but this one is really good. Mario misses typing in the games from like 321 Contact magazine. I had Enter magazine, which was the offshoot of that. I used to do that, the basic programs. And Eric still has Beavis and Butthead for the Genesis. There's actually a great, there's actually a really good Beavis and Butthead adventure game on the PC. I think it's called is it Virtual Stupidity, I think it's called? It's a great, it's like full voices. It's like playing the cartoon game. It's great. Even that guy, Todd, is in there. Oh, here you go. This is the Lunar Complete. Because wasn't Lunar a Sega CD game also? 4-disc collector's edition with map and soundtrack. Blades of Steel 99. I had that game on the NES. All-Star Smash Brothers. Again, another Japanese preview. Oh, this is interesting. They're like not sure about this. Remember, Smash Brothers now became like an international hit. So check this out. My 2 cents. Nintendo 64 fighting games don't have a good track record. For that matter, Nintendo itself has never excelled in the area. Killer Instinct may have been innovative, but it was hardly a gaming great, was it? Smash Brothers again shows innovation, but there's something a bit odd about Mario and Link beating the you-know-what out of each other. Well, that did not age well, right? Look what happened there. It's an industry now, Smash Brothers. Triple Play 2000. You know what's funny is that when you look at these games from the late 90s, certainly the graphics have improved. But the games are very similar in many ways today, aren't they? Like they're not the same as they used to be. In the sense that you would go from one generation to the next and have a huge difference in not only what the games looked like, but how you played the games. And I guess VR would be that next step, but we've not seen consumer adoption at the level. Certainly the graphics have been improved since these days, but not to the extent of Atari 2600 to NES, for example. Here's a poster. This looks like a racing game, California Speed. And they knew their audience. There was young men, so they would, advertise appropriately or inappropriately, as the case may be. PlayStation reviews here. David Langley says these frames would look, I think these were kind of neat. I saw them on Amazon, and I was curious about what they would look like in person. I mean, they're nothing crazy. In fact, I took one apart in case you're just tuning in, and we'll get to the other magazine in a second. I broke one. I have to re-glue part of it, and it's really pretty. They're pretty simple in their design. So it's just you could say that the stuff is very precisely cut out. So they just glued these things on top of these posts. And so, that's the extent of it. But it looks cool. And I can't see them doing this with a machine, so I'm guessing it was probably hand-placed after they've printed out the layers to it. And it's basically on a piece of foam core here. So they, I would say it's something you could probably make yourself, right? By looking at how they put it together. But that's how they do it. So it looks pretty cool. And as I said when I was recording the video earlier, there is a there is a VR emulator for the NES, and you can actually play the game like this, like it looks like you see it here. It's actually really cool because the game plays exactly the same. It's the same graphics, but they separate all the layers. It's very similar to how they do it for these shadow boxes. It's really neat. So I thought that was kind of neat. So Edward is wondering, is the Sega Dreamcast the console that had the video game Daytona? So yes, Dreamcast had Daytona. In fact, we just reviewed the GPD handheld here, and we were playing the Dreamcast emulator with that. And you can check out that review on my Amazon page or on YouTube. And the Saturn also had a Daytona game. Jacob Somerville says there aren't giant leaps between NES and SNES for PS. Yeah, like exactly. Like NES to SNES was a huge leap. PS1 to PS2 is a big leap, but PS5 and PS4 games are hard to tell apart sometimes. Yeah, really it's a matter of just like the graphical fidelity. I think somebody posted something on Twitter the other day where they did something similar to that discussion where they showed Forza 5 running on the Xbox One, and although it didn't look as good as the Xbox One X, it was not like the big, it's the same game, right? Like you can play that game on a lesser system because really it's just about the graphical elements and the perhaps the resolution of the textures and that sort of thing. Here's Street Fighter Alpha 3 Japanese. Yeah, so they're going through all these Japanese imports. This was on the PlayStation. And you know what's funny is that there was an era in which nothing could be 2D during this period of time. Everything had to be 3D, and those games were not very good. And the ones that we're very fond of are all the 2D ones. Right? Here's a Game Boy Color game, a preview of Bugs Bunny, Carrot Crazy, another one, another Bugs Bunny game, 2 Bugs Bunny games coming out in 99, 2000. And you had Chips and Bits, buy your games, mail order. Did they have a .com? Let's see, because this is like very early days of e-commerce. Let's see, Chips and Bits. Yep, you can go to cdmag.com/chips8.html. So they did not have their own, Rochester, Vermont. They did not have their own website, so they were using the magazine for the website. Now you can very easily open up your own online store. Hey, check it out, a little mini arcade game. Pinball enters the, oh, this is a regular pinball game. The New Millennia, Revenge from Mars. Pinball is big again, isn't it? Civil, yeah, that's a very, I think that's exactly the phrase I was looking for. Diminishing returns when it comes to the advancement of all technologies. I will give you that. And here's a great example of, by the way, the 3D of everything. Army Men 3D. And here's Mario Party. This is, I believe, the first one. And we just got a new one recently. They're kind of showing all the mini games in the original Mario Party. Here's Tomb Raider 3, also 3D, of course. Mario Party, I think, is mostly 3D at this point. They have a bunch of one-player mini games there. I keep trying to get into Mario Party with my kids, but the games take so long to get through. I don't know if the new one is any quicker, but like they get bored because it's just like over and over. You know, it's very repetitive. Aha, there you go. It's 1999, the year Nintendo gets it right. What do you think? I think they got a lot right, but I don't think the Nintendo 64 was, I think it's very fondly remembered, but I don't know if it's the best system Nintendo ever did. I think Mario 64 is probably one of the best video games ever made. And here they're saying Mario used about 60% of the N64's power. I guess Zelda's up there too, isn't it? They had a couple of good ones on there. But you know, they went from that to the GameCube. The GameCube did okay, but the Wii is what really took off. And that was really a GameCube with, you know, kind of a little bit more of a boost in power in those controllers. And they stumbled on the Wii U, and they have a smash hit, of course, with the Switch. So here's a good example of kind of what I was talking about earlier with the 3D stuff. So here they're reviewing Castlevania for the Nintendo 64. And this game, I think everyone who's played it now would agree it's pretty lousy, right? And they're getting 9s and 8s. So in context of the era, right? But nobody wants to play this now. It's like here's one of the shorter ones. Castlevania turned out to be a surprisingly satisfying 3D adventure platform hybrid that packs great graphics, an awesome story, and a challenging, though at times frustrating gameplay. Overall, great game. Reveals itself to be an atmospheric and superbly designed adventure. But would anyone say that about this game today? Really? That one really stands out, because I think if you go across a lot of the retro game channels where people have gone into depth on this, nobody likes this game. So it just shows you, like, the stuff that's timeless wasn't timeless then, right? Now it is. Because I think tastes have improved. I think we've discovered what works in a game, right? And maybe that's why, because this industry is a lot more mature than it was when I was a kid going from these huge leaps. Mario wants to know how the new release of the remakes, I think that was more like a collection, right? I haven't tried it. Oh, this is a great idea from David Langley. I would love to see Lemmings as a pixel frame, but with the 100 Lemmings, that would be cool. I think a Lemming one would be neat. Yeah, in case you're just tuning in on the Amazon feed, we've been checking out these pixel frames. So here's the other one I've got. I got to fix the one that I dissected here. This is the other one that I got. I remember seeing this scene so there was I like how it gives it a little bit of a shadow there too from the score. I remember being at my local Dairy Queen, seeing Street Fighter II for the first time, and I was like blown away by this scene, the bonus scene where you beat up the car. I thought that was so cool. Graphics looked amazing. And this is one that I think translated very well to the home consoles. The Genesis version was great. The Super Nintendo version was great. People say the 3DO was the best version of Street Fighter. So pretty cool stuff. Let's continue here. Yeah, so that one stands out. And that's what's funny about going through these magazines, because sometimes the games that they loved back in the day really were good at the time. Civilization 2. So this is one I would agree with, right? Civilization's always a great game. This is on the PlayStation, though. I'm trying to see if there's any others that I recognize or are widely panned. Siphon Filter, Wheel of Fortune, Link's Awakening, DX. Okay, well, there you go. Link's Awakening, see, now that's one, okay, timeless. It was good then and it's good now. And they gave it a gold award, like one of the best ever. But that was, this was an old game back then. This was probably 6 or 7 years old at that point, and then it was remade as a Game Boy Color game. And here's the review archive. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that I can notice right out of the gate here. I remember being really disappointed. I was a PlayStation 1 owner, and there was just so much shovelware that made its way to the PlayStation. It was kind of like how the Wii ended up being, too, to some degree. Was not, oh, this is fun. Oh, my goodness. All right, so let me go through some of these. Here's like a Kick You Know What stereo mini disc and CD. Well, that's pretty cool. MD5 mini stereo from Iowa. This little features both a CD player and an MD player recorder for making your own custom mixes. That's pretty cool. Around $500.99. So that was pricey. But here's what I want. I was excited about this. I had this. This was cool at the time. So this was, and I bought this in Hong Kong. I remember buying this in Hong Kong at a mall. It was an infrared wireless headset, and it sounded really good. You had to have line of sight to the base station. I still have it upstairs somewhere. I think I paid less than what they're selling it for here because I bought it in Hong Kong. But this thing was awesome. And I used this for a long time because my wife, I stay up a little bit later watching TV at night sometimes. My wife always wanted me to put this thing on my head so she wouldn't hear the TV. So that was cool. Here's a record player. The Final Word from Chris Boyer. Console multiplayer. Can't we all just get along? Kind of a problem today too, right? A little couch co-op. Do the split screen. Now, any of you call this number $1.49 a minute? Can you imagine what your mother would say? My mom would have killed me. And you got your software, cash for your old games and systems. How many people regret selling their games to those guys? There's some Funko Land Superstore. You want it? We've got it. The Game Cave. And you notice all these places, no websites, right? Call the number. No, FuncoLand had a .com. But you see, like, the emphasis was on the telephone number, not on the website. Because this was still, like, relatively early days for e-commerce. Even 99, it was still pretty fresh and new. Amazon was only like 2 years old at that point. Game Shark. You know, lots of you had that one. And then on the back here, Ute Tower. Like a Sim Tower clone. So there you go. All right. So Mario was amazed by the 3D FX stuff. I was too. I had a 3D FX card. I had a Voodoo 2. Well, I had a Voodoo 1 and then I bought a Voodoo 2. Monty had the PC Gamer Mag when Creative X-Fi cards came out. I'm not sure which one it was. Dig into those things and see what you can find there. Yeah, if I can find it. I know that my Sony thing is not working anymore, but I gotta find that one. All right, so we opened up this one. This is a good one. I think this was probably one of the better ones. I've always liked EGM, and I guess at this point they were owned by Ziff Davis, which is PC Mag's parent company. So I don't think they were always owned by them. And by the way, the cost of this was $5. So in today's money, you were paying about $8.30, so about $7.99, which I think sometimes is what you might see for a nice magazine. All right, so that was the first one. And we've got two today, so let's take a look at the other one. If you're just tuning in on Amazon, we were checking out these shadow boxes. These are called pixel frames, and they're pretty neat. They're fully licensed. They're glass. So you got to be careful with them. 9 by 9. And I think a great little gift idea. I've been collecting gift ideas for the channel. So I've got one going up tonight on some rechargeable or some battery things for your iPhone. And I'm going to keep looking for stuff. So if you see stuff like this that you want me to review, let me know. Because I'm trying to do like a whole series on like things that I can get for the holidays. Because I am always on the lookout for stuff too, because I have friends in my life that like this stuff. All right, so Eric's going to go with his April of '94 again. We had a good one on the last one. So it was April of '99. Or March of '99 was the last one. So let's see what we get on this one. What do you all think? What's the magazine and the era? And Monty, yes, you know, as a matter of fact, Monty, we should do this as a stream one day. Because I actually have over here, let me grab them real quick. And I took them out specifically to do something with them at some point. I've got a whole bunch of these PC Gamer magazines. These are some early ones too. These are actually around, yeah, these are like super early. And I haven't really done much with these, but we have like, maybe when we run out of magazines, we can start doing these. So I have These are just what I could find. I'm sure I've got more. You can download all of these from the Internet Archive if you want to get nostalgic and see what's out there, but these are the ones that I was able to find quickly. So this is from July of '96, and so look at all the stuff you would get on this. And they would have like a whole interface to this too, so this one had the Pandora Directive, Zork Nemesis, Normality, Phil Marlowe, Private Eye, Stardust 96, all this stuff. And of course, America Online. You had to have America Online, right? Patches and add-ons. This was July of '96. And actually, this one is like, I don't think I've even put this in. Oh, it's been used. Got your AOL thing there. So I have like my classic PC laptop that I could use to run this stuff. Because not only is this stuff old, this was pre-GPU. So all of these will run like really well on my Micron PC over there. This one was from September of '95. This one had the dig. So yeah, like, you know, you were on these little modems going at 14.4 if you were lucky, right? Paying by the hour. And then you could grab, you know, one magazine. I think these were selling for about $8 back then, which is not cheap, but, you know, $8 and you got, you know, probably a weekend's worth of entertainment just playing around with these different demos and stuff. Here's Mega Race 2, the Desktop Adventures of Indiana Jones, Top Gun. Yeah, we should play with these. I have it on my list to do some streams with this stuff. Here, VR Soccer 96, Duke Nukem 3D. Oh wow, is this one that came out? They have tried, but FormGen has finally done it. A true Doom killer, May of '96. That's when I got this one. And this was how a lot of this stuff got distributed, because not everybody had a fast enough modem to download all these things. This was March of '96. And so like every month, I think I must have subscribed to it back then. So the Cobra says $9.99 with the disc. Still a pretty good deal, right? If you were having to download everything. And Frank Mula just sent me a suggestion of something I should get, so I will definitely check that out. And let me just check my thing here. Okay. So if you guys and gals want to see these, let me know, and we can do some of these in upcoming streams. And then you can go to the Internet Archive and download more of them. So the Internet Archive has all of these. So you can download them and run them on DOSBox, boot them up on your recently rebuilt thing there. So there you go. Hey, Metal Jesus is here. So Metal Jesus and I got to hang out at the Retro World Expo. Had a great time. And we got some great pho. I always called it pho, but I guess you call it pho. So we got some good food. And actually, you know, you were an inspiration for this because I think you did a video about the PC Gamer discs. But I got a ton of these. And I can download more of them. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the first edition was the Wing Commander one, which was like right in the fall of '94. And so I was a freshman in college, and my PC was not powerful enough to run it because I didn't have enough RAM to make it work. So, and I don't know, Metal Jesus, if you've checked out these things, but we were just looking at some of these pixel frames that I bought for this stream. So I know people are looking for gift ideas. So I just shot a review of them. They're like little shadow boxes. Pretty cool stuff. You know, it's funny, because they had like that whole interface with the monkey on it and stuff. I forgot the name of the PC Gamer monkey guy, but it's pretty cool. So we got another magazine to open up. And I think I told you, Metal Jesus, when I was with you that I had subscribed to their magazine thing, the Video Game History Foundation. And your friend Kelsey is a big part of that. So this one feels a little more recent. It's got, you know, kind of that matte finish thing there. So it is GamePro magazine. What are you waiting for? So this one I think is probably going to be in the 2000s. Let's take a look. And so Metal Jesus got a bunch of these in a lot on Craigslist. Oh, that must have been a fun one to find. I got to start going through that more. And he's got a bunch of these already in his game room. What I did do is I took one apart and I kind of broke it. I gotta glue it back together. So I was curious how it comes together. So it's neat. And you know what's cool when you look at this? You could see how, if you had the time, you could make one, right? You could go into the game and like grab elements off of an emulator and kind of make your own and cut it out and do it yourself, because it's just like glued on foam core here. But it's pretty cool. I might just hang these up around my my studio down here. Pretty neat stuff. Now we're not sure what Game Pro edition we're looking at here, so let's take a look. Oh, this is your last issue. Whoever got this. And the one thing that's been, I've mentioned this too, is that these magazines have been extremely high quality, like the condition of them all. So like they're not sending you out like some stained thing there. So it's pretty cool. All right, so let's open this up here. So this is issue 131. Oh, another 1999. So the last one we had was March of 99. This is August. So this came out about a month before the Dreamcast's big release, 9/9/99. And I was there day one, back when we had retail stores that you could buy video games at in my area. And I got to send in that renewal card. I sure do. Hey, Metal Jesus, if they got that new Lamborghini Countach, have you seen that one? It looks beautiful. Hoovie's Garage was out at one of those shows and saw the new Countach. It costs like $1 million, but it looks awesome. Here's Walt Disney's Tarzan. And you can see, too, when you get into 1999, like how much more of an industry the video game world was. Because you look at these ads and the quality of the ads, you can see they're hiring like big-name marketing firms. Like if you were to go back, let me go find one of my oldest one here. Do I have an old one? Yeah, I might not, now that I think about it. Like if you were to go back into like the super early days in the late 80s, like you would not see advertising copy as sophisticated as some of these are, right? It was funny, like a lot of the game ads were more like the classic computing ads of the time, because they were not hiring general retail marketers. They were in the computer industry. I like this game, NFL Blitz. This came with one of my Voodoo cards, and I remember getting a lot of fun out of it. I always enjoyed the less serious arcade sports titles like NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, and NHL Hits was another one that I played quite a bit. And I think that's one of the great things we have, Metal Jesus, to save ourselves the midlife crisis spend of that amount of money. We can play all that stuff in Forza 5. I just downloaded it this morning, so I'm going to play around with it a little bit. This is like the classic backpack that everybody in college had, the JanSport. And look at that, you got your PDA in there. But yeah, this has been a fun thing. I really like getting these magazines every month because I haven't had a magazine subscription in a long time. And quite honestly, there wouldn't be a gaming magazine. Actually, the one that I saw at Retro World, I probably would look at. It's called something Retro Visions, I think is the name of it. That one looked kind of fun. Apple Jacks. I like Apple Jacks. I don't eat Apple Jacks anymore because it's not healthy, but I do like Apple Jacks. Chocobo Racing. This is August of 1999. Ooh, the Tilt Force. I don't have fond memories of a controller that I think I had that looked like that. There's a new motion-based technology that's sure to help the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation gamers play all the angles. The Tilt Pack. Oh, so there was a Tilt Pack for the Nintendo 64. Yeah, do you think that you would want to play a Star Wars game with motion controls? No, thank you. Yeah, the F-150 you can do that with, right? And I think that's kind of like where the electrical industry, the generators are looking at all of the potential stored energy of your car in the garage as a means of supplementing peak demand, where they would actually pay you to have your car feed back onto the grid to reduce the demand. That's been talked about. So it's pretty crazy. There's a lot of power in those batteries. So my car, I don't even charge it to like, I usually keep my car charged at about half, because half for my car is like 200 miles. I'm not usually going that far, so I don't charge it up all the way. And then if I find a free charger somewhere like we had at the convention center, I just, you know, go to full blast and let it charge up. So here is Army Men from, so 3DO became a publisher. They went from being a publisher and a hardware licensing company, because they never actually made their own systems. They licensed things out. And so the Army Men was one of their things. The new Tetris. It's like a Jerry Springer was big at the time. Looks just like a Jerry Springer set. Tetris tore our friendship apart. I don't even remember this game, the new Tetris. And one of the things that I demoed at Retro World Expo was the Mister has a Game Boy core where you can actually load up 2 simulated Game Boys with a link cable and play the 2-player Game Boy games on one screen. It's really cool. And Mario's got to go back to the books. I remember those days. And I graduated college, and now I can do this for a living. So here's the E3 showstoppers. And again, this was like a month before the Dreamcast came out. And everybody was harping on this Castlevania 3D thing. So right before you came on, Metal Jesus, the EGM magazine we were looking at ranked the N64 3D Castlevania with like 9s and 8s, calling it like a beautiful game, which right now, of course, everyone does not like all that much. But Soul Calibur, that was a launch title with the Dreamcast. I bought that one, and I think I also got the aerial thing from with my Dreamcast as well. I can't remember what I think. Oh, and I got I bought Soul Calibur, that fighting game that was like Super Smash Brothers. I forget the name of it. Yeah, if you all want to see that, I'll show it to you real quick. I have a video of it that's in my presentation that's still on this machine here. I can pull it up real quick. But yeah, it was super cool. And I was able to, actually it's on my, where did I put it? You know what, maybe I don't have it handy. I don't have it handy right now. Sorry about that. I thought I had it front and center, but I don't. But if you watch tomorrow morning's video, I've got it included there. It's called Game Boy 2P. It's not part of the regular Mister update script. You have to download it. But if you go to Retro RGB and just do a search for Game Boy, you'll see it. Game Boy Mister, you'll see the link to the cores. You can do it with the Game Boy Advance core and with the Game Boy core. And in the case of the GBA, one screen can go to your CRT and the other one can go to your HDMI. It actually splits off 2 different video outputs, so you can keep your screens separate from each other. It's neat because, like, how many people do you know that have a Game Boy now? So you can get that 2-player experience. And in many cases, I had 2-player capable games, but none of my friends had the Game Boy. So here's the some of the marketing for the Dreamcast, $99.99. Metal Jesus, did you get a Dreamcast the day it was released? I did. I went down to a toy store that is now closed, unfortunately. It was awesome. This toy store opened up, I think, in like 1990-ish, yeah, somewhere around there. And so I went from not being able to get any games locally to having everything available at that store. They had an awesome games counter. I remember walking up on $99.99, and I went up and said, I would like my Dreamcast, please. And walked in and bought it. Here are some E3 showstoppers from 1999 on the PlayStation. So Final Fantasy, Metal Gear Solid VR missions, Dino Crisis, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Some of these hold up. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. That's one that holds up, right? NHL 2000. I had that on the PC. NHL 2000. Die Hard Trilogy 2. I loved the first one, the first Die Hard Trilogy game, because it had a mix of game. I loved the light gun game on it. It was kind of like one of those Virtua Cop kind of things. And Metal Jesus got his Dreamcast much later. See, it was funny. I was into PC gaming at the time too, and then for whatever reason, that Dreamcast spoke to me. I don't think there's a system that had more good games as a percentage of its total library, right? I mean, just about everything on that system was awesome. I had this mouse, the IntelliMouse Explorer. This was an E3 showstopper. So no one remembers this joystick or whatever this thing was, but I had that mouse for sure. That was a great mouse. I played Quake whatever on it. Probably Quake 2? Yeah, Quake 2 I played on it, actually. What an ad this is. Quake 2 Meat Market. Really? That's clever. Game Boy Color. Some Pokemon. Ghosts and Goblins on the Game Boy Color. Star Ocean, the second story for PlayStation. There you go. That's right. 99 was the year that Star Wars The Phantom Menace came out. I do think it's interesting in the wake of the Disney takeover how, and this comes back to that discussion too about how we look at things differently, that I do think people look at the prequels of Star Wars, the movies, differently than they did when they first came out. I think people appreciate them more. And I also think the cartoons that they did, especially the Clone Wars cartoon, has really, I think, improved the overall prequels. I did not like the second one. The first one I thought was fun just because it was great to have like an official Star Wars movie again for the first time since I was in like first grade when Return of the Jedi came out. To get like a new Star Wars movie was pretty cool. The third one was okay, right? But it's funny, people were really angry with George Lucas at the time, and now they want him back, right? So the grass is always greener. NBA Showtime. I had this on my Dreamcast. This was like a, so this was 3-on-3 NBA Jam basketball. And so this was out for the Nintendo 64. And I had it on the Dreamcast. And Metal Jesus liked when Anakin went full Vader. Yeah, that part was awesome. I think they handled that transition well. I think the problem that the prequel movies had is that everyone knew what was going to happen, right? So I think that was the issue there. And of course, the issue with the sequel trilogy is that there was too many cooks in the kitchen. So that was an issue. But the TV shows have been doing really well. Now, Frank owns every Game Boy except the color version since the GBA canalized it. Interesting. Yeah, I had the original, and I have a color. I had a Pocket, but I sold it. I used to sell my consoles, and I still regret doing that. But I have 2 GBAs. One of them I modded, so I've got a new display on it, which looks awesome. I have a video about that. It was a no-cut display that I put on there. Here's Marvel vs. Capcom. And it's funny, like, this era, like, you did not see a lot of 2D games, but the 2D fighters were pretty popular. So that was like the only, there was some 2D, but not a lot. Here's one called Sledstorm. And I know that Metal Jesus likes the SSX trilogy, or the SSX games. Here's Driver. See, what's funny, whenever Metal Jesus likes a game, there's a good chance that I will like it too. We have the same taste in games, especially like Burnout. Love Burnout. Road Rash Unleashed. This one I don't think fared well, did it? Jet Moto 3. Fighting Force 2, Army Men Air Attack. These are all sneak previews. They're really pushing this Army Men thing. Yeah, I had a 3DO system. I still do. Actually, now I have 2 of them. A long story. Sledstorm. Here you go. There's another Dreamcast ad. Board games make you bored? Get the Dreamcast, $199. That price was pretty competitive, I think, for what it was, right? And the Dreamcast had a modem built in. Now, I had the Ethernet adapter, which of course I sold and should not have. So you could use it with your broadband connection back then, because I had a DSL connection around that time. I got my DSL in 2001. And I'll tell you what, it was hard going from college where we had like a T1 in every room. You know, we all had access to the T1 line. Going from that back to dial-up was not enjoyable. Here you go, Grand Theft Auto, the director's cut. So this is back when they would make a director's cut, a definitive edition, and actually have it work, unlike what they that they just pushed out that everybody's complaining about, right? So Monty's main genre back then was the RPGs, and Sega really did not have many good ones. Yeah, that's true. There was some. I think there were some on the Genesis, but the SNES got a lot of those, didn't they? And Aaron liked the Die Hard trilogy. I have it on the Saturn. I did get it on the Saturn when I bought my Saturn console. So now that I've got a good CRT working upstairs, I'm excited for that. So Metal Jesus just found a Dreamcast complete in box right now on price charting. How much do you think? No looking. Oh boy. Now is this new in box? I'm guessing just in the box. Well, given what I saw at the show last weekend with, what was it, like they had a 32X in the box for like $300. So I'm going to say probably $1,200 for that Dreamcast. That's my guess. And that's one thing I did not sell. I still have mine. I modded it with one of those optical drive emulators. I got the one from Terra Onion. NFL Game Day, NASCAR 2000. I think I played that on the PC also. Championship Motocross. Oh, these are fun. So we saw this in one of the other magazines for a while too. These things kind of stretch the legalities of the time. So they made this like a game of skill. And so you paid to enter. And if you won, you would get the projection television, the home theater system, the rack of components, a computer from Packard Bell. Look at that. If that's not a artifact of the 2000s, late 90s, I don't know what it is. And then like every game system available at the time, with the exception of the Dreamcast because it wasn't available, but there was the Sega Saturn on the list there. Oh, you get the Dreamcast, which is not yet out, but you would get it too. I don't know if anybody actually won this, but you would have to like do this mystery word game, and then you would send your money and the entry in, and then you get sent 4 more puzzles at $2 each one tougher, and one much tougher final at $1, which will be sent to you. So you get 4 more puzzles at $2 each, so $8, right? And then a final one for $1 that gets sent by mail. You will have 3 weeks to solve each puzzle. We don't know how many will play, but typically 55% will have the highest score possible to score to phase 1. Da, 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 da. And then highest score determines the winner. If players are still tied, they will split the value of the grand prize they are playing for. I don't know how like any of that is legit, but they must have, because they did it as a game of skill and not a game of chance, I think it skirted around those issues. $110 loose. $280 used in the box. This is for the Dreamcast. $800 new. So that's a little less than I thought. There was somebody on Flickr who found a brand new Apple IIc in the box. That was it was not a video unboxing, it was a photo unboxing. It was awesome just to see that old Apple. I had one of those. It brings back memories when you see one of those things not all yellowed. WWF Attitude. So back then, the World Wrestling Federation was WWF before they got into the trademark dispute or copyright dispute with the World Wildlife Federation. Here's Carmageddon Console. So that was a game on the PC where it was just like, it was just awful. You run over people. It was one of those games where like it wasn't very good, but you still played a lot of it for some reason. I don't know what the appeal was with it, but it was. Here's the Neo Geo Pocket Color. I know you've got one of these, Metal Jesus, right? I think you've done videos about these. This was something that I think also underappreciated, right? Because it had a clicky stick on it. Tekken Tag Tournament. And here's a bunch of moves for Tekken Tag Tournament. It's when the magazines had some value. You bought the magazine, you could get all these moves. A lot. Here's an ad for the Tilt Pack. You can't just read your mind. You can't read your mind, just your movements. Yeah, it didn't go too well, did it? SWAT Pro. Then you got your stuff here. Do some advertising. This is an Interact ad. And then, of course, the back cover, bringing it home, $99.99. You know what's funny? You don't actually see the Dreamcast console anywhere. In fact, you just see the logo down here at the bottom. So gamers that were following along just knew the significance of the date, right? Outsmarting it will only make it smarter. If only it could sell like that. And that's it. So, I think it was a pretty good run today. And Metal Jesus says the Neo Geo Pocket Color is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool console. Not backlit. Oh, interesting. But there are mods. You just like the Game Boy. I did mod one of my Game Boy Advances, and it looks great with that on there. Oh, so Ryan did these things. He said the first puzzles were easy. The last one, you needed a supercomputer. I wonder how these would fare now when you've got access to those kinds of, like, you could look up things more efficiently on the internet now, right? I would love to know, like, how that would fare these days. Win32 enjoyed Delta Force series on Windows XP. Great game. THQ Nordic got the rights, and hopefully they'll remaster. Yeah, it'd be good to see some of those games remastered for stuff. Chris got a. That's right, because they had the Sega Sports Edition Dreamcast that were a different color. They're black. Yeah, mine's over there. I modified mine. I don't know what it's like buried in stuff. Excuse me. I put the Terra Onion mode in there. Dave was wondering if anyone remembers the Dreamcast fishing controller. I did not have one, but I know people that did. I did have that game Seaman with Leonard Nimoy with the microphone. And no joke, so when that game came out, I was first starting to date my wife. And Leonard Nimoy, as the Seaman, would ask me if I had a sweetie. And that's what I started calling my wife, and that's what I call her to this day. Isn't that funny? So the Dreamcast is what led to my wife's nickname. How about that? Recipe Bob's girls had a GameCube. They loved it. I liked mine, too. I bought the GameCube over the PlayStation 2 because it had a Star Wars game. And Eric's got the original Packard Bell there. Ryan says he could have written a Python script and solved the puzzles. I would love to know what that last puzzle was like. And there's a train controller for the Dreamcast in Japan. There's all sorts of cool stuff. And David, glad you enjoyed the stream today. You know what I'm going to experiment with on the next one is Twitter has something called Twitter Spaces. And I was thinking about a way that I could bring people into the chat with a call-in. And my vMix system has the ability for me to bring calls into my system, but I can't set it up like a call-in thing. But Twitter Spaces kind of works like Clubhouse works, and you could go in and listen, and then I can elevate people into the voice, and I could pipe them in. So I'm thinking about trying that out. So that might be on our next stream. I may engineer that a little bit. I had too many moving parts in today's stream to make that work. So, but yeah, this was a lot of fun. So it was good. Yeah, we got caught up on our magazine. So this will be, I'll get my next magazine in December. So we'll have another one of these when we go about doing that. And I might, if you're all interested, maybe we'll start digging through these PC gamers, because if I go on archive.org, I'm pretty sure they have all of these PC gamer CD-ROMs. And there's like months of content that we could do as live streams, because it'd just be something I would like to play around with. Let me just do a quick search on here and see if I can find that library. But I know that they've been pretty pretty diligent about that. Jason Scott, who's one of their digital archivists, is really aggressive in getting all of these CDs from the 80s and 90s like just imaged and up there. So all of like the DOS shareware CDs are up there. Like there's a lot. Because I was going to contribute some stuff to the archives. I have a bunch of stuff in the back, and it was all up there already. So yeah, they've got like, you know, all of them. So yeah, they're all ISOs. You can download them. I'm just looking through here right now, like July of '95, which I don't think I have. Full ISOs, you just download and burn them, or just use the image. They're all there. It's good stuff. And hey, cool, Metal Jesus. Yeah, we could have you call in. I'd have to set it. I don't have it set up right now, but we could definitely do that. We should do an interview. Actually, I've been meaning to do that with you, so we should do like an interview thing. So we can totally do that. And I do need more staff. The problem is that like the stuff that I like to do, like this stuff, doesn't make enough money to support staff. So that's the problem. The printers and that stuff, that makes it work. But yeah, I think we'll do. So I'd love, Metal Jesus, if you're up for it, I'll send you an email. We can schedule an interview, because I'd love to be fun to get your origin story, kind of similar to what we did with Major Nelson. But yeah, I think for my next one, I'm going to set up a Twitter space. And I've been thinking about how to make this work. So what I'll do is I'll have the Twitter space running on my phone, and I'll just use the phone's microphone to pull in the audio. And then I will send the Twitter audio, because it won't pick up my audio. I'll send the Twitter audio to vMix over NDI, and I should be able to bring it in kind of like mix minus, where I'm only going to hear your voice and not anything else. And if I do it right, you might not hear yourself echoing back on Twitter either. We're going to mess around with it, see if I can get it to work. So that's my next project, because it's fun to like do the chat, but I feel like it'd be great to get people on, and I want to have like an ability to queue callers up. And I could like go out and get like one of those PBX services or something, but it might be more fun to just do it with Twitter, and that might be helpful to get more Twitter followers at the same time. So that's what I'm going to experiment with next time. Maybe that'll be another weekend chore when my wife and kids are out of the house, like they are at the moment. So, but great. I will. Yeah, let's set it up, Metal Jesus. It'd be fun to do an interview, because you've got such great stories about Sierra and how you found success on YouTube. I know people would enjoy that. We have a lot of viewers in common too, so it'd be great to do that. So back to the contest here. So Ryan Plumley says the final puzzle was like a 15 by 15 grid, and all the letters had a score. Every word you could make would add to your score, so you'd have to optimize the letters. Oh, wow. So there really was a scoring feature to it, and that's how they kept it a game of skill. I would love to know who won that stuff. And Eric actually paused in Adrian's digital basement video on the TRS-80. Wow. Well, thank you. I am honored. And I want to thank Clyde Washburn for following me on Amazon. So yeah, so these were cool shadow boxes, I thought, and some cool magazines. So I'm going to go take the dog out for a walk before it gets dark out, because it gets dark in like an hour, given that we just changed our clocks back here in Connecticut. So I want to go get that walk in and grab a snack, and I will be back again soon. I might come on. I'll definitely be on throughout like the week next week, because I've got a printer to look at, a bunch of stuff coming up. So yeah, it looks like I've got a pretty good week here. So yeah, good stuff. It looks like maybe on Friday I'll play around with that call-in thing. So we'll see what I've got. Tomorrow is a little busy, because I've got to take my kids for a little vaccination deal, and then we've got something else going on. Ooh, I might have time tomorrow, now that I'm looking at it. Unless I'm watching the kids, I don't know. I think I'm watching the kids. You know what, tomorrow's not going to work. Okay, we'll figure it out. So that is going to do it for now. And yes, David, there's some big thunderstorms coming. You're right. David doesn't live too far from me. And yeah, we've got like some massive wind and crazy stuff happening. Hail, they're saying, tornadoes, like crazy stuff. So we're going to get that walk done before it's too late. Yeah, so check them out if you're interested. There's a bunch more of these on Amazon that I found that you all might find of interest. And the best thing is that we're in the holiday season, so just put them on your wish list, because there's like Sonic ones, They're pretty cool. I think I might put these up around my game room upstairs, especially the one that I just, just broke. So that'll do it. So I will catch you all on the next one, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.